Good evening, this is Nerd and welcome to this tier list of Medieval 2 Total War. Today our tier list is based on each faction's roster of gunpowder units. Now I've already made a guide on how to utilise these late game units in battle, so today let's take a look at what is available to each faction. My criteria is gradually explained through the video, so I won't break it down at the start. I will however give a quick disclaimer to highlight that this tier is in no way my own opinion and is totally factual. Feel free to discuss your point of view in the comments below. We begin in Tier F, and it will be no surprise to see the Aztecs at the bottom. With no gunpowder units, putting them here was both harsh and fair in equal measure. Two honorary members of Tier F though are the Normans and the Saxons, who as prologue factions are only designed for the early game. You may have seen though that my Norman artillery only campaign had plenty of gunpowder units. Indeed, that sadly was heavily modded. Into Tier F they both go. The last member of Tier F are the Byzantines, and I hadn't really noticed until now that they only get the Bombard. Absolutely pathetic. I guess it is a historical nod to the fall of Constantinople, where they famously turned down designs for the monster Bombard, the Dardanelles gun, only for the Turks to use it in defeating them. Frankly, only having one unit is far more of an insult than having no gunpowder units at all. Shame on you, Byzantines. Into Tier E, and we get just the one faction, Egypt. They have access to a few more of the basic cannons, such as the cannon and its predecessor, the Grand Bombard. It's a nice start, but they don't have any of the best toys. The Naviton are fun on occasion, but hardly world-changing to be honest. And the Sudani gunners are similar to handgunners, but with less melee strength for more missile strength. Now, I quite like the unit, as I explained in my gunpowder guide video. But while it has its uses, their poor range means that melee capability is very important, and their bonus missile damage is of secondary importance to morale and shock effect of gunpowder being used in battle. In short, I prefer the normal handgunners. With only basic toys, Egypt sits firmly in E tier. In D tier, we see two factions that are frankly uninspiring. Let's start with Scotland, who have access to the Bombard, the Culverin, the Mortar and the Ribolt. Beyond the basic Bombard, they do have the Cultured Culverin, a versatile and solid unit that can take out walls and units very effectively indeed. The Mortar is a niche but fun toy that is weirdly effective in siege defence. The Ribolt promises much, but to be honest, much more than it delivers, but it can be great against the Timurid elephants. Not much choice, but some saucy selections are beginning to emerge. Scotland can have the D. They are joined by Sicily, who marginally pip them due to gunpowder infantry units. Their Bombard and cannons do the basic job. They also have Ribolts and mortars, but where they lack the Culverin, they do have the previously mentioned handgunner and arquebusier. Now I find the latter to be tactically awkward. They're watered down musketeers and rarely that useful, but it's a tad more choice, so to the top of D tier they go. Into Tier C, and we'll find that England are very similar to Scotland and Sicily, but with a superior blend. They add arquebusiers to the Scottish roster, and the Culverin trumps the Sicilian cannon and handgunners, so England sneak into the so-so of C tier. Far more interesting are the Mongols, who seemingly have little if anything to write home about. Bombards and Nafiton are nothing special, but the rocket launcher single-handedly takes them to high C tier, as it is utterly insane and among the most fun units in the whole game. They are everything the Ribolts promise to be, and so much more. As we reach B tier, you'll notice that there are lots of factions left. Whilst no faction has a perfect roster, many have a wide selection of excellent units. In the B tier, we start to see more of the best units emerge. Firstly, we have Poland and Denmark, who have exactly the same roster. The cannon, handgunner, arquebusier, the Ribolts that we've all seen before, but they are rocketed into B tier by the salacious Serpentine. A rarely seen unit, the Serpentine is more a Napoleonic era cannon that specialises in shooting down infantry at spectacular range. Little variety, but a great unit takes Poland and Denmark this far. Do note, Denmark is ahead on alphabetical order. The Papal States sneak ahead due to a wider range of units. The aforementioned Culverin is flexible, the Mortar is niche but fun to play with, and their gunpowder infantry give a solid if unspectacular variety for his popiness. Top of B tier is the Moors, who at first glance may seem dull and very similar to Tier E Egypt, except with both the Sudanese and the classic style of handgunners. Indeed, they are mostly dull as dishwater. However, they also have a one-of-a-kind, rarely seen god-tier unit in the camel gunners. Long-range musketeers on camelback are obscene, and I for one love it. Top of B tier for the camels alone. In tier A we have a large flurry of factions that are hard to separate, but let's give it a go and see if you agree with me. Bottom of tier A are the Turks, and yes, I know some of you are upset already. I surprised myself with this, but here's my thinking. The Monster Bombard is clearly insanely strong, and aside from being a mercenary unit, it is essentially unique to the Turks. Great start. The Naphtalian and handgunners are fine, but of course the Janissary musketeers are to my mind the top gunpowder infantry unit, and all factions with any musketeers have ended up as A or S tier. So why, if they have these two top units, are they bottom of A tier? Well, they have nothing else. Variety is the spice of life, and they lack the sordid serpentines, the madness of the mortars, the bombastic basilisk, or any of the animal-based shenanigans we saw with the camel gunners. Excellent units, but the Turks lack variety, and that lays them at the bottom of A tier. Just ahead are Russia. Their Cossack musketeers are a close second best when it comes to musketeer units, and they have 3 of the 4 wall smasher cannons. What elevates them above the Turks is the basilisk, the daddy of all-round cannons, and the upgrade of the culverin that I so admired earlier in this list. The added versatility takes them a smidgen above the Turks. Next up are Milan and Venice. They both have very similar rosters, but with a few small differences. They have the musketeers to excelling infantry gunpowder bouts. Their culverin, whilst not as potent as the basilisk, is still versatile and highly effective. Their monster ribolts are funny, especially in siege defences, if not highly efficient, and overall, while they don't reach the heights of the Turks or Russia, I have slotted them above for versatility and comedic value. It is a close call though. Oh, and Venice sneaks above because I do rather like the mortar. Next up are France and Hungary, who only have a few units, but they damn well picked good ones. Basilisks are the best cannons to my mind. They have both the serpentine for good measure, and whilst a lack of musketeers is disappointing, they do have arquebusiers for the close range gunpowder morale hit. For the 2 best cannon units, they fly up in the tier A rankings. Hungary just sneaks ahead though, as they do have the ribolt. It's already useful of course, but it's the marginal gain that just takes them ahead. Next up are the Portuguese, who sneak ahead due to matching the basilisk, but also now adding in the musketeers. 2 excellent units to have in your roster. Of course, Russia had this too, and I sense the comment section arguments continuing here. However, this is my tier list, and I quite like having the handgunners and the ribolts just for that added extra variety. Ultimately, most of tier A could shuffle around depending on your preferences. I am perhaps biased to Portugal, but I will know my biases, and I'm going to place them second in tier A. Top of tier A does not have musketeers, basilisks, or even serpentines, so what is it doing here, you ask? Well, they do have access to the Monster Bombard, sorry Turks, and they have 3 of the best wildcard units available. Top of tier A goes to the Timurids. Now the cannon and the Naphtalian handgunners are fine, but not carrying them any higher than D tier. But what will are the rocket launchers, which single-handedly took the Mongols to the top of C tier. Of course, what truly elevates the Timurids are the elephant units. Oh yes, well the elephant unit itself consists of musketmen on elephant back. A crushing unit that spreads panic like few others. It's like camel gunners on, well, elephants, just without the camels. A great unit to surmise. It is the elephant cannons though that truly inspire. Nonsensical, utterly mad, and preposterously fun. Who can argue against the Timurids taking top spot for these units? Of course, there are 2 factions left, 2 factions that have elevated themselves to the lofty height of S tier. I hope you've worked out who they are. Regular viewers should be expecting the next one, as in second place are the Rebels. Yes, the Anarchy doesn't quite take top spot, but they certainly have some spectacular units. The Rebels' ability to recruit is based on the culture of the cities they acquire, as seen on my Medieval 2 Rebels campaign. Technically though, they lack the ability to recruit gunpowder units. However, the Rebels unit roster officially includes the mercenaries, so I'll ride the wave of my bias and place Rebels here in S tier. If you want to play as the rebels in custom battle and use all of these fun units, then there is a guide to that. But back to their roster. And the Ribble, Monster Ribble and the Rocket Launcher are all available, as well as the Arquebusier to give some infantry utility. The Turkish/Timurid Monster Bombard is of course a mercenary unit and provides all the wall smashing you need. They sadly lack the Basilisk or the Serpentine cannons, but that all pales into insignificance because of the three elephant units that are available as late game mercenaries. The elephants and the elephant artillery were covered by the Timurids, but now the silliest of the lot are the Rocketeer elephants. Oh yes, rocket launches on elephants, one of the best units in the game, now on the back of an elephant. What could be more glorious or more deserving of S tier, and more deserving of the Rebel Anarchy than that? Finally, top spot. They may well be the worst Roman Empire, but the Holy Roman Empire does take top spot as the faction with the best gunpowder units. They tick so many of the boxes: the Basilisk for the all-round destruction, as well as the Serpentine to pick off elephants and infantrymen alike. They do lack musketeers, which is a shame, but they do tick the wildcard box. Yes, the most important are the Reuters. Cavalry gunners are wild and so OP. They lack the Ranger Camel gunners, but are mobile shock troops and are very capable in melee should you need it. This unit is so rarely seen or used, but is absolutely glorious. For lacking only one of my 4 requirements, the Holy Roman Empire has the most rounded and best gunpowder roster in Medieval 2 Total War. So there we have it, the totally unarguable and peerless tier list of gunpowder rosters from our Medieval 2 factions. Feel free to politely argue your corner in the comments below. I will be having more guides, time lapses and perhaps more tier lists in the future, most likely on Fridays, so look out for those. For now, I will leave you. I'm Thomas, this is To Nerds to Human, and this has been a tier list for gunpowder factions in Medieval 2 Total War. Bye bye. Have you heard the good news, my friends? Here's the good news! It's the Pope! Has the Pope ever done as badly as I'm doing as the Pope right now? God only knows. God only knows. Down goes the spoon of destiny. And there he goes! It took every last bolt we had.